What's up, everybody? How's it going today? I'm going to settle in and make a video. You know, I've been busy as hell all day getting things accomplished, and during that time I've been pondering the idea of friends and what exactly a friend is. Not too much as far as how to identify a friend, but rather, do we assume that someone's a friend merely because we've known them for a long time? And I think that everyone's had this issue come up in their life. If you've had friends in your past, you may have had an issue where you run into someone you haven't seen in a while, and they tend to, let's just say, assume that you're friends merely because you grew up together. Now, when I was younger, I held out this mindset that once you're tight bros, as far as the guys go, that you're friends forever, you know, for a long time at least. And the simple fact is that people go through phases and people grow apart. And people become different people than they used to be. Whereas you may have spent time with someone when you were younger, and perhaps they're just a little too aggressive for you, but not too bad. And maybe you're just a little too mellow for them, but not too bad. And let's say that you progress in life to where you become more relaxed and they become more intense. Then you won't be able to reconcile the differences as well, and eventually you'll grow apart. I sometimes wonder whether or not internet friends or people that I've met on YouTube or elsewhere could probably even be better friends than some of the ones that I've known for a long time. Merely because you may spend many days with friends, especially in your teenage years, where you'll go out and you'll do all these fun things, and then there's a nostalgia that's attached to your youth. And that nostalgia includes the music that you grew up, you hear old songs, and oh, it brings back memories, and people are no different. The question we have to ask about friends is not whether or not, you know, they think the way we do, or whether or not they, I guess what the things that we do need to consider, I think, for a friend are, does the person share the same values? Do they have the same values towards the things that they believe in life, such as, it doesn't have to go into religion or anything like that. You can even be different political views. I've had friends where we don't share the same political or religious views at all. But it comes down to the basic character of a person. Do you steal? Do you lie? Do you cheat? Are you an abuser? Are you violent? Are you ignorant? Are you arrogant? All these different things that people have their little, you know, nitpicking about personality traits. I guess probably what started me thinking about this was I posted something on Facebook and a friend mentioned that, how about a happy birthday? And I started thinking about this, and as somebody I haven't talked to in a long time, and I thought, you know, how the hell should I know it's your birthday? But of course with Facebook, people get notifications for all that stuff. I don't pay attention to my notifications. I never look at whose birthday it is or anything like that, because I think I have this strong, you know, I guess something I believe in my life is that if you don't remember somebody's birthday, if you have to be reminded by a machine about somebody you don't even know or know that well, if it's somebody that you wouldn't have called to wish a happy birthday anyway, then why should Facebook make it any different? I actually changed my birth address or my birth date on Facebook, so I would get like happy birthdays in the middle of the summer and stuff and be like, my birthday until November, fool. You know, but it's because the true friends know. But this has nothing to do with birthdays. A friend doesn't need to know another friend's birthday. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that sometimes people will play the victim and think that they want to say that they should be noticed more, or, you know, how come I never see you? And you think, well, because we're not friends anymore. We don't associate. We become acquaintances after a while. And I feel kind of harsh saying that to a friend. If I'm saying that directly to someone, you know, I'm not going to say, hey, I don't want to be your friend anymore. But I think that people just understand that and grow apart. I have several friends acquaintances that I knew when I was young, that maybe we weren't quite on the same level, and then I meet them again years later and we're totally bonded. I have friends that I grew apart from, but then I grew back together with. And then I have, you know, of course, people who have totally different principles. And I guess what it comes down to, in a way, is kind of a, how do I put it without sounding like a dick, you know? I I like to tell it like it is. I've always been that way. And yeah, sure, it gets me into trouble. And maybe sometimes the way I think it is isn't necessarily the way it is. But I'm very honest about how I feel, and it does get me into trouble sometimes with friends or loved ones when I'm saying, this is how I feel about a situation. So there is a certain amount of, I guess, tact you have to have when talking to people. You don't want to offend or hurt anybody's feelings. You don't want to go up to somebody who's trying to hang out with you and say, hey, we're just not friends anymore. But I think we all start to understand that. I guess for me it's that I don't really want many friends. I'm not out seeking to make new friends. I really love the friends I have, and I barely have the time to spend with them because of my family, obviously, and my families are my best friends, and I'm always with my best friends. So it's going to be different for each person. Some people don't have family or close family or children or parents, and then they need friends or that closeness. And for me, that's why I've kind of strayed away from hanging out with friends and people, is because I have my home life, and I'm happy with it. I don't feel like I need to escape, I love my family. But I also love my friends. And I also love the friends that I grew up with. And we did share some great times. We shared some amazing, fun experiences. But we were kids. If you spend time with someone between the time you were 14 and 18, and then you don't see them for 20 years, it may seem like that person's a great friend because you spent 4 years hanging out together all summer. But it's been 20 years since then, and how much time have you really seen this person in the meantime? How do you know what kind of a person they've become? Are they still the same person? Just because you recognize them and speak to them doesn't mean that they're, that you're on the same wavelength as far as getting along. So I think that I'm a little brutally honest about that with people. I don't like to take bullshit. I don't like to beat around the bush, or try to telling it like it is will get you in trouble, but it'll also really set the stage for the way that you deal with people and the way that people deal with you. If they know you're a no-nonsense person, then they're not going to come to you with some nonsense bullshit just so you'll listen to it. I try to be as good of a friend as I can. It's funny, actually a friend of mine called me about a half an hour ago, and he wanted me to go through this thing on the internet and try to activate his PS3 or PS4 for him. Or it was HBO or something through that, and we had to go through all these passwords and stuff, and I'm on the phone, and he's like, alright, thanks dude, later, and hangs up. And I'm thinking, that's great. That's what we do. We're friends. We help each other out. He doesn't have to sit there and go, oh man, thank you so much, or what can I do for you? A true friend does something without expecting a return, without expecting anything in return. You do it because you care about the person. And I have a few good friends that if I was really in a serious situation, they would come bail me out, help me out as much as they could, and I would do the same for them. But if it's a friend that you wouldn't be able to call on, if it's somebody that you don't feel like you would be able to trust or expect to help you out, is that really a friend? And I think that that's a major consideration that we need to take, for me anyway. That's kind of how I determine whether somebody's a friend or an acquaintance, is whether or not I would trust them with my time, with my money, with a job or whatever it may be, but it doesn't mean that you have to 100% trust a person's going to do a great job. They might just not be a good worker. Maybe they're just kind of slack a lot. But for me, that's important because work ethic is important. So if I met somebody who just wanted to slack off all the time and never work when they were on the job, that's a major component of friendship to me, is having somebody who shares those values. So doesn't mean you can't be friends with somebody who's a slacker, of course. I'm a bit of a slacker in my own way. That's really not my point. Just that we have to choose which values that we want to put forth as the ones that we want to share with people, I guess. So those are some thoughts on that. I'll talk to y'all later.